life genuinely sucks living these days. Like, we have to work a 9 to 5 just to make ends meet is honestly kind of messed up. And we have to do this every day of our lives, guys. And I'm just 16, so we have to do this all the time? Like, my guy, I just want to rest for once. Like, I have no idea. And this is just a random rant about, like, mainly just life in general, because, damn, it really sucks to live these days. Like, damn, rent is ridiculously high in pretty much the majority of the world now, especially if you live in the United States of America. Like, it cannot be this high. But thank God I don't live in New York, because damn, the rent must be scary there. Or LA. Because I live in New Jersey, and I mean, the rent isn't that bad, but either way, it is so just really intense, the rent. And we have people trying to make ends meet, trying to be able to survive for providing for themselves and their families, and we're barely able to survive. A lot of people have to deal with this all the time for some terrible job that barely pays you at all, and you have to just accept it. And same thing with people in college, because they have to do this all the time also. Anyone has to do this these days. Like, I was just at ShopRite yesterday, and then we had to pay like over $100 in just basic necessities, like just food and mainly just food and just like some laundry detergent. But either way, $100 for like less than like I think like 16 items. I don't remember, but it was a lot of stuff we had to buy, and that was over $100. And we have to do this all the time, by the way. And this is just me being a family of 4, of just my mom, my dad, and my brother, and me. And other families probably have it even worse, because they have to feed a bunch of mouths just to survive. It's just sad, man. And another thing is that, like, our generation, specifically Gen Z, and possibly Alpha also and Beta, we're like the loneliest generation, as a lot of people say. It's not that we're totally alone, it's like, despite us being like quote unquote the most connected generation because of social media, we're actually more isolated than ever. After the pandemic, like, everyone just kind of started being more alone lately. And it's just kind of sad. Especially it happened kind of to me, but there are other people who have more extremes than me. It becomes very hard for people to talk outside of school or whatever, because they've been just isolated for like almost 2 years inside the house doing virtual work and barely having any connection outside of the house, mainly because we were locked in for so long. Another problem is that men really struggle to find relationships these days, mainly because they are either toxic or they're too scared to actually go approach women these days, mainly because they're either too shy. I mean, I myself am kind of shy also, naturally, in real life. But it should never be like this. And I think the reason why is mainly because of the content we're always consuming, and or like social media, like from on TikTok, of like those girls like reporting their boyfriends or whatever, or other shows like Love Island or Euphoria kind of glamorizing this type of behavior, which should never be acceptable, but well, people love content and drama and well, all this stuff. Like, there are a lot of girls at my school who watch Love Island, and this guy who also watches it with them and also discusses about the stuff that happens in the show. It's kind of crazy, because why are they talking about a show that just glamorizes people's bodies? It's worse now that they're trying to push this to the younger demographic, like my demographic, like younger Gen Z, and even younger Gen Alpha. Like, these shows try making actual love less exciting and try to glamorizing like hookup culture and all that stuff. It kind of makes the problem that, well, girls want to chase rich men or just men with very attractive bodies, and women and men also doing the same thing. Like, the odds of these girls actually finding the perfect partner has an attractive body or build and makes more than six figures or whatever and is pretty much rich at, like, I don't know, like a young age of 20 something is pretty much impossible because, well, these girls are trying to chase men who are pretty much hard to find. And who says they're gonna actually want you? Media like this really affects young men because of these girls having high standards for their perfect partner or whatever. And it really becomes tough for them to actually find love. Because these girls want to have a, like, partner that could provide for them. Although it's hard and they want something or just to spoil them or whatever. Like, this really makes a lot of men feel unwanted or feel like they have problems with themselves, which either makes them, like, unalive themselves or well, resort to, like, corn because that's all they could do if they can't really find a good healthy relationship. It becomes to an extreme that they can't find anyone. Like, I'm not saying all men in our generation, but a couple could and would. Anyways, back to, like, prices for, like, just surviving in general these days. Like, housing prices are just very, very high these days. Like, they're like houses that are like over like $400,000 these days, or at like 1 million or something. And it makes harder for like younger people to own a house because, well, there's a lot of stuff against them, and mainly the boomers have all the houses. This in turn would make, well, it makes young people having to resort to rent, which is not really the best investment because, well, prices will still go high either way. And this is not really and especially if you live in like a very expensive city like New York or LA, it is pretty much just a death sentence just for living in a tiny closet or whatever for like, I don't know, like over $2,000 a month. I may be over exaggerating, but it is kind of the reality. A lot of young people in my generation are still trying to look for jobs, and it's actually pretty hard to find a job, or less than, and just staying there in general because, well, who wants to work these jobs? Like minimum wage jobs, a lot of people are just there only for survival. Like, nobody wants to work at like a McDonald's for the rest of their life, or just flipping burgers at like Wendy's pretty much for the rest of their life. They're only doing this just to survive and make ends meet or pay off like debt, like tuitions from colleges. A lot of kids take student loans for college because, well, they couldn't either afford it and they have to take a loan, and now they have to pay off all that debt because, well, mainly because prices go high over time. That's what debt is. And unfortunately, it becomes too much. And even if you do everything right, are a straight A student, well, you're just mainly just used as an employee pretty much for the rest of your life. And this is for students who literally graduated and got degrees. And they struggle to also find jobs too, just like normal people would. But it's sad, man. Because they work, like, I don't know, like, maybe like 4 years for like a master's degree or, I don't know, some other certificate or whatever, and they barely get paid or even could find a job at all, or just a job in general that could just sustain them. It is pretty much the sad world we live in these days, especially for our generation, pretty much. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. I'll see if I could do other videos because this is my first time, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye! That sounded too cringe.